Hello everybody, I'm back once again. God is still speaking through visions and dreams. Today I want to talk to you about something that it's not a subject that a lot of people would want to hear, but it's extremely important. I've been thinking a lot about the children. I was surprised to see God allowed me to see. As you all know, He speaks through dreams. He speaks through visions. And God allowed me to see children that had been captured by Satan. What I'm going to tell you all, some of you all won't believe it, because you're going to question. If you knew what was going on in the spiritual realm, in the spirit world, what was happening to people in the spirit world, you would question God's love for us. That's the reason why He don't let us see some stuff. This is the reason why He don't let us see some things. This is the reason why He won't allow us to find out some things, because we would really question God's love. And if He were to explain it, we wouldn't understand. Okay? But there are some very horrendous things go on in the spiritual realm with people when people are lost. The Bible said it's a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. A dreadful thing. It talks about knowing the terror of God. The Bible talks about knowing the terror of God. But most of us, we know about hell. We've been taught about hell. Okay, there's not a lot of people preaching on hell anymore. They just don't talk about hell. Who wants to talk about hell? Who wants to talk about people going to hell? Who wants to talk about that? Who want to listen to that? Let's just be honest. Okay, because everybody feel like I haven't done anything that bad to deserve eternal punishment with fire forever. Just be honest with yourself. Okay? You be honest with yourself. You feel like I've done some bad things deserving of punishment. But to be cast into hell fire and be tormented with demons and be tormented with everything that is, every miserable thing that there is, whether it be darkness, whether it be toothache, whether it be demons, whatever it is, we really feel like we don't deserve that. And I hope hell doesn't exist. I hope it doesn't exist. I hope when we cross over and meet God, I hope God will say There is no hell. There was never a hell. You all just misunderstood what I was saying. I hope he say that. I hope he say there's no hell. There was never hell. You all just misunderstood what I was saying, or Satan inserted these scriptures in the Bible, and I allowed them to stay there because whatever. I hope that's what I hear. I hope I do. You know, I remember when I was little, I was like 5 years old or something like that. I remember that seemed like that was the most fun time of my life, when I was like 4 or 5. Okay. But after about somewhere between 5, well, after about 5, things started to change. I was becoming a different person even at 5 years old, even though God was speaking to me then. And God warned me about hell then. Actually, he warned me about Judgment Day at the age of 5. I saw fire everywhere. Okay? But after 5, my life began to change. I began to get into things, a lot of bad, mischievous things. I used to just jump on people and bother people, do little devilish things, you know. And as I got older, 9, 10, I was doing even things worse than what I was doing after 5. And every once in a while, God would remind me of hell, even at that age. Kids know. They understand, man. They understand about hell. You just need to talk to them and tell them. And we're going to be responsible for that. But God would remind me about hell. Then when I was turned 10 years old, I remember I heard about this little girl died. She was the same age I was. Same age. She drowned, her and her dad. And something just came on me, like I was in my yard playing or something. I don't know what I was doing. And something just came on me, go see that little girl. And I got up and walked down to the funeral home myself. At the age of 10, I just walked down there to that funeral home myself. And I saw that 10-year-old little girl in that casket. I stood there and I just looked at her. God was speaking to me then. He was speaking to me then because, see, I had just gotten into something then. Something I knew was wrong. I was doing things that I knew was wrong, but I couldn't seem to help myself. Okay? I was starting to have really become kind of psychotic or something. But God led me down into the funeral home, and I saw that little girl in that white dress. She was only 10 or 11, and her dad was over on the other side. And I was just standing there looking at her, and God was talking to me. He was talking to me. He was letting me know, man, this can happen to you. You got to be careful. At the age of 9 or 10. And at the age of 5, I remember him taking me to he took me to this little, in my sleep in a dream, he took me to heaven. I went to heaven I was in this, he took me in this little room. This little room it was full of light, white light. There was another guy in there with me. And I forgot what all happened, what all we talked about, what all went on. But I remember after that, he showed me the world on Judgment Day, the world on fire. But, well, guess what I'm saying is, our children, man, are being carried away with so many different things in this life. Our children. Listen, God talked to me about hell at 5 years old. Okay? Our children are being carried away with video games. They come to church and they sit there with their computer, with their tablet, with their video games. We make these kids participate in a satanic holiday. A satanic holiday. We dress these kids up and they participate in a satanic holiday. Now we got the LGBT. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm being nice. The LGBT promoting and pushing their perversion on these children, and the adults are just standing back like a bunch of something and not saying anything right there in the class. The teachers. The LGBT is chanting in their video, we are queer, and we're coming for your children. We're coming for your children. They're singing a song, we're coming for your children. You remember Solomon. God asked Solomon what did he want, and he said he wanted wisdom. See, sometimes, and God gave him wisdom. Sometimes we think children ain't ready. We think they don't understand. We think they're not comprehending. We think they're just not here. They're not there. They just kids. Listen, I knew about sex at 4 or 5 years old. I knew about sex. I wasn't even 4 years old, and I had a crush on a woman. See, lust and sexual perversion can be passed down from generation to generation. I don't know how I became like that, or why. I just knew this woman was pretty, and I was like, I like that woman. Okay. So I knew about sex. I knew about all that. And see, even kids, if you were to walk in a room and catch a kid, I wouldn't say 3, I'd say 4 or 5. They were funneling each other, and you walk in and catch them, they'll jump back. And then they have this frightened look on their face because they know what they're doing is not right. They know what they're doing is not right. They know that. See, and this is where we're making a mistake with these children. We think they don't. We say, children aren't going to hell. I'm here to tell you, I saw Satan had captured some children. I saw one boy in hell. He was only 12 years old. 12 years old. And he was burning. And as I was watching, I thought, this must be a video game I'm looking at. His fire is going to go out in a minute. But the fire didn't go out. But anyway, when I woke up, I asked God, I was thinking, Lord, what did he do? He's just 12 years old. I mean, it would have been bad enough if the boy was just sitting in a dark cell in darkness for his punishment. But this boy was on fire. You know what God said? He lied. That's what he said. He said he lied. Something of what he must have lied to his mama, told his mama he was going somewhere, and then went somewhere other than what he said he was going, and ended up getting killed. Okay? Or something, I don't know. But God said he lied. I don't think, y'all, we taking God seriously. And I thought, man, if God would punish this little boy, or if this little boy could end up losing his soul for just telling a lie. And he probably didn't know the gospel like I know it. He probably don't know the word. Didn't spend time in the word like I did, like I do. I sure better be careful. You too. I saw Satan captured some children. That's sad, man. It's really sad, man. Listen, as I've told y'all before, I visited worlds in the spirit realm. I visited worlds. Some people call it astral projection. But I call it astral projection just to talk to you about it. Because that's what some of you all call it. So I call it astral projection, just to be able to talk to you about it. But God takes me into the spiritual realm. He used to, not as much as he used to. And I visited many worlds. And in these worlds, there are humans there. See, this is the reason why Jesus Christ said, I go to prepare a place for you. There was no place prepared for us in the universe. Once we died, there was no place for us to go. Okay? We were like little chickens on a prairie full of predators. Everything like chicken. Hawks, coyotes, foxes, cats. I mean, we were just prey. That's P-R-E-Y. P-R-E-Y. And we were in a world full of predators. There was no place for us to go, so Christ had to prepare a place for us. I've been to many of these worlds. And in these worlds are humans. And these humans are there. They wasn't saved. They wasn't saved. And these humans are being tormented. They're being used for food. They're being used for slaves. They're being used, their body parts are being used for other body parts of other beings. Okay? Because we are the serpent's meat, the Bible said, right? The serpents will lick the dust all the days of his life, right? We were made from dust, and we're his meat or his sustenance. We sustain the serpent or the devil or the draconians or whatever you want to call them. But there are children. There are children that are in these worlds. I see. There are some visions I've had, some dreams I've had. I don't remember when I had them, but I know I had them. It's like I know I got this in my mind. I know I saw that, but I can't tell you when. I saw a little girl. This girl looked like she might have been about 12. And she was in a cage, a small cage, sitting in a small cage. And in this place, this looked like this was, I don't know where this was. It was like I went down through a real dark tunnel, very low tunnel, and I crawled through this really dark tunnel. And at the end of this tunnel, there's these little pockets. But this little cave, this little girl was in there, and she was just sitting there in torment. Okay? I remember distinctly her feet being on fire. But there was nothing she could do, just her feet. That's all I remember. But there was nothing she could do. Okay? Now I remember this one girl, she was a teenager. And she looked like she was a teenager, about 16. Now I didn't see her, she wasn't on fire, but she was in this dark place and she was groaning and moaning and lamenting, and I don't remember a whole lot about her, but anyway, she was very young. And the next day, a few days later, I try not to think about that stuff, but one day I asked her, I said, where are you at? And I saw a volcano. She was locked away inside of a volcano. This is rough, y'all. This is hard. There's a song said, we'll understand it by and by. I sure hope so. I sure hope life is not like this. We'll understand it by and by, the church song says. I sure hope so. I really don't know how we're able to bear this type of teaching and live with this type of expectation for the human race, and we not have some kind of mental breakdown ourselves. To think that one day people are going to die and be cast into hell, fire, and darkness, and pain, and suffering, and misery of all sort to the extreme. I saw people being hurled into the sun. I saw people being thrown. See, people are not just in hell. When people die, they go a lot of different places. We got the outer darkness, furnaces of fire. The sea gave up its dead. There are other places. Death gave up its dead. Where is death? See, we know where the sea is. We know where outer darkness is. We know where hell is. Where is death? When death gave up its dead. Death can be anywhere. That's death. That's where it is. It can be anywhere. I saw people being hurled into the sun, and they were igniting before they got there. Their bodies would ignite before they got there. I hope when we see God, we find out that we made a mistake. I hope He say, well, no, there's no hell. Never was, never will be. I hope He say that. See, because a lot of us, we're trying to understand God. We're trying to understand, Lord, how could you love us? And then do that, or let that happen. We're trying to understand, how could God love His people like He say He do? But then will cast somebody into hell for all eternity forever. This is the side of God we're trying to understand. Because you would think, well, maybe there's some people need to be dipped in some fire, make them change, do better for a little while, but to leave them there for all eternity. We're trying to understand God, this side of God. Listen, I saw myself in the millennial reign. I was sentencing people to hell. The Bible said we will judge angels, right? We will judge the world also. I was doing it. I was sentencing people to hell. I sentenced demons to hell. You're going to do the same thing. So I'm trying to think, what is going to happen to us to make us do that? I forgot my thought. I had a thought I was going to. Okay? But we're going to do the same thing. See, right now, as myself, I wouldn't do anybody like that. I just wouldn't do it. Not unless God said, well, it's either you or him. Then I would just have to say, well, sorry, man, it's got to be you. But other than that, I wouldn't do nothing like that. So it's not that some people actually leave God because of this right here. Some people leave God. Some people don't want to even come to Him because they're trying to understand, God, how could you do this? How could you even let this happen? If you had, now I'm not only trying to condemn God, man, and judge God. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to make a point. But some people, they want to know, God, how could you even let this happen? If you knew this, see, it's so much we don't know, y'all. It is so much we don't know, and we will not know. But I know one thing: I don't want to take a chance in this. I'd rather just do what I believe God telling me to do, and get into heaven and miss hell. And if I get there and find out that hell never did exist, okay, that's fine. I'm still good. Okay. So, well, hell never did exist, man. You did all that for nothing. Okay, well, I didn't do it for nothing. I'm here. Okay. But there are people that leave God. And some people won't even come to Him because of that. Some people have lost their faith. Okay, they've given up. But we're trying to understand this. But I'm telling you, what I've seen people, I've seen children. This is what I really want to get at here, the children. We just say, oh, they'll be all right. God don't send children to hell. There are children in hell. There are children in hell. Little children. I saw a 7-year-old, this little girl looks about 6 years old. This little girl looks like she's about 6 years old. She wasn't in hell, but she was in another world. And these people had her. The people looked like normal people, but they were just evil. See, there are other worlds that's like this. Y'all know the movie The Matrix, right? That world. Okay? Let's just say it like that. I mean, I can explain it like that real easy. You seen the movie The Matrix? That world. There are people in that world. Let me see another place like what is it other movie? The Addams Family. You remember the movie Dark Shadow? That old series Dark Shadow? That kind of world. What are some of my other favorites? Jupiter Ascending? That world. Those worlds. Okay? Let me see. It's another one. To just give you some idea. Okay? A lot of the fantasy movies that we see. Okay? Those kind of worlds. It was one, I almost thought of it. But I saw her in that kind of world. Those kind of worlds. And they were just tormenting her. They were just torturing her. Just slapping her. Slapping her. Slapping her. Slapping her. That's what they was doing. I mean, that's what I saw. They were probably doing a lot more than that. They sexually torture people, kids. I'm telling y'all, man, listen. Jesus Christ paid a big price for us. Okay? Because he knew how much trouble we were in. Yeah, man, I saw this little girl, man. Cute little girl. But they were beating her and slapping her and just torturing her. And then I saw this woman, she looked like she might have been about 25. But what they do in these worlds, when they get these people and they just keep them around just to torture. They just stand them right there beside them. Okay? I envisioned one time, there's like, in some of these people homes, they got homes just like us. Okay, these particular people, they got homes just like us. Bedrooms, kitchens, whatnot. And in their bedroom, they got what looked like a booth. A booth, like an old phone booth. And then there's a person, a human. And there's something, and they're just tormenting those humans like fire or something. And they just scream all night. You can go by in these neighborhoods. I would visit these worlds in these neighborhoods, or when you walk by a house, you can hear people screaming in the house. See, to them, that's music. Like to us, we got music, but to them, hearing people screaming, to them, that's their music. Okay? That's their music. I'm talking about, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know God told me to get on this video and get on this internet and make this video. So it's for somebody. It's all kind of horrendous things they do to humans. I see they have the heads of humans, like we have the heads of animals on our walls, and when you go to different businesses, I've seen human heads on dressers and fireplace, on the dressers and on fireplaces and stuff in their homes. I saw people. They were like it was like it was melted in a door. You know, you melt something in something, They was like melted in a wood, but this was a wooden door, but they were melted in there. Like Solo, what's that guy name in Star Wars? Solo Han, when they put him in this thing and they froze him in time in this slab of metal, and you could see his face print and everything in there. Well, I saw some people they had put inside of a wooden door. All this stuff sounds weird, but you know what? God kept telling me to make this video, because somebody needs to hear this. But they had these people inside this wooden door, and you could see I could see the faces and prints of the prints and outline and images of their face and their bodies and stuff. And the door was dripping blood, human blood. See, to them and these people in this world, and the people in this world, this is what they like. This is their, see, and somebody come by their house and say, oh, that's a lovely door, that's a beautiful door. And the door is dripping blood with humans inside of it. Man, it's some strange, this some strange stuff. You know what? God has been telling me to talk more and write more about this stuff, but I'll be saying, Lord, I don't want to talk about this stuff. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I think I'm going to do it. And for everybody out there that don't want to hear this, just turn it. You don't, just turn me off. Go listen to something else. But somebody, this is for somebody. Okay? Y'all, we talk about the UFO aliens coming. They are our brothers. They coming to help us. You know what? Them monkeys, when they stand around, they wait for people to die. They know who's dying. They know who's dying in the house. Like if somebody's in their house and dying and stuff, and dying, they know when somebody's getting ready to die, and they wait over that house for that person to die. Now, some people go straight to hell. Sometimes those UFO aliens take them to hell. Sometimes they take them, once they die, they take them to other worlds, use them there for as long as they want. Then when they get through using them, they dispose of them. They take them to hell, to this dump ground. Okay? But if you could hear in the spirit, this people be screaming when they die without Christ. When they die without Christ, because those beings are coming, they're coming in there for them. Okay? Same with children, man. There are a lot of children. There's more children being, especially teenagers. Especially teenagers. Teenagers are in sin. They are in rebellion. They smoking, cussing, fighting, committing fornication, all kind of stuff. And a lot of them are going to hell. You mothers need to be praying for your children all the time. And you fathers need to be setting a good example. That's right. Need to be setting a good example. Living the way Christ told us to live. But children are lost. There are a lot of children that are lost, and they're young. I saw a bunch of children. I don't know how many it was. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them, 13, 15. I don't know how many it was. But they were all locked up behind a big fence. It was like a wire fence. I could see right through it. And they were all locked up behind this big wire fence. And they were all crying and moaning and crying. They looked like they age range anywhere from 6, 7, 8 all the way up to 12, 13, 14. But they was in misery. They had long worms coming out their ears, long worms coming out their nose, Worms coming out of their eyes, worms coming out of their mouth. And I asked God, I said, man, why there's some worms coming out like that? He said because they were listening to things that they shouldn't have been listening to. They were watching things they shouldn't have been watching, saying things they shouldn't have been saying. Okay? That's what I believe he said. And sometimes we let our children watch anything. The TV is full, television and the internet is full of demonic imagery. Witches casting spell. I wouldn't let my children, if Beyonce is on, I would turn her off. Do not watch Beyonce. If I had little children in this house, when my kids was coming up, they thought something was wrong with me because I was starting to tell them, no, y'all stop watching all them cartoons. I used to like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner cartoons. But the gargoyles, Teenage Mutant Turtles, Teenage Mutant Turtles, all them demons. So it was a He-Man. So I was starting to put some restrictions on that stuff, you know. But by then, they had already watched quite a bit of it. But I was starting, God was kind of waking me up. And I was beginning to put some restrictions on that. I'm telling you, they ain't going to like it. They're not going to like it, but the Bible said foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him. Okay? We have to correct our children. Because I don't know about you, but I would hate the thought of my child going to hell. And I'm in heaven. As a matter of fact, actually, if a parent is responsible for a child going to hell, the parent might not make it. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Because the parent was responsible. I heard a little bitty baby crying non-stop in the trunk of a car in this other world. And I'm thinking, how did he get that little baby? How did he get that little baby? But there are some parents that are so evil. There are some parents that are so evil. That's the best word I can think of. They will sacrifice their children to Satan. Now, I ain't saying all children that are sacrificed to Satan go to hell. I'm not saying that. But I believe there are some children, very small infants, not many, but I believe there are some that these demons get. I don't know, I'm not sure how they get them, but they get them. I don't believe there's many of them, though. But I never forget that, and I always wondered about that. Lord, are you telling me that even there are some infants that are lost forever in the hands of Satan forever? I never get an answer for that one, but I know what I heard. We're going to have to, and see, this Halloween is coming up. Halloween is coming up. A satanic holiday. We should be teaching these children about Jesus Christ and teach them and help them understand to stay completely away from this satanic holiday. But I'm here to tell y'all, I don't know who this is for, that the Spirit would not let me rest. He would not let me rest. Tell them there are children that are being lost. We hear children cussing and we think it's funny. We hear children cussing and talking back. We think it's funny. We hear children cussing a teacher out. But you know what? My mama used to beat our behinds until we become remorseful. If we did something, we was disobedient to her, she would start whacking us on our butt. We wouldn't cry at first. We would hold it in every time she hit us. See, we call that child abuse now. But the Bible said, if you spare the rod, you're going to spoil that child. It's also said, if you don't beat your child, you hate him. But if you beat him, you shows that you love him. That's what the Word of God says. But see, our mother, she taught us to fear authority. Respect authority. See, my mama beat the crap out of us with them switches and belts. And she didn't beat us with an extension cord. And she used to tell us don't whoop kids with the extension cord. I agree with that. But she used to whoop us until we became remorseful and had a repentant heart. Okay? If she whacked us a few times and we didn't cry, she whacked us until we start. If we look like we got angry because she was whacking us, she'd keep on whacking us. Until we said, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. Okay, Mom, I'm sorry. See, until our heart became remorseful and repented. That's the way it's supposed to be done. And she used to tell us, see, back then, we didn't call the police if Mama whooped us or Daddy whooped us. Because they didn't do nothing. We knew we knew they weren't going to do anything. But back then, when I was a boy, the kids would run away. That's what they would do. They would run away. Miss Geraldine's boy ran away. My mama looked at us and said, you better not run away. If you do, you better not come back. So we scratched that. We ain't running away, are we? You want to run? No, we ain't running. We scratched that. We had to stay there and do what Mama said. See? But now these kids call the police. And a lot of times the police will come in there right in front of the children and scold the parent. Right in front of the children. I'm sorry, but you know what? When I get to talking about the police, I get upset. I really do. Because the police department and law enforcement have overstepped their bounds. And they are doing things they are meddling in things they should not be meddling in. And something needs to be done about it. For one thing, there's just too many laws. Way too many laws. And when they should be enforcing the law, they're not. They're making it illegal to steal, illegal to commit lewd, indecent acts in our cities. They're arresting street preachers. They are working with Satan. See, the Bible said in Romans 13 chapter that the police officer or law enforcement are ministers of God. They're supposed to do what is right. God set them in place to be ministers to us. And the Bible told us that we should fear them. if we're doing something wrong, because the Bible said that man, that police officer, he does not bear that sword in vain, or he's not carrying that gun on his hip for nothing. That's what the Bible says. So we should fear them. But the police officers, many of them are corrupt to the core. The whole department is corrupt, all across this country. And this is the reason why people, the citizens, are losing respect for them. They don't want them. And so now the police department feel like if you can't, they don't want you to question them. They don't want you to say, why are you doing this? They don't want you to question them. Now they are defunding the police in some cities. The police has pulled back, and they're hoping the citizens in the city will implode, collapse on itself with crime, because they want us to call them back and plead for them back and apologize to them and let them continue to commit crimes against the citizens without being called in question for it. That's what they want. They want to be able to just walk up and shoot somebody 15, 16 times, a pregnant woman, an elderly man, anybody, hold them down, choke them to death, anybody. And we not say anything about it. Well, they're just doing their job. No, you're going to be questioned. You're supposed to be questioned. If the citizen, and what kind of stupid stuff is this? The police department investigate the police department. No, that should be citizens. The citizens should determine whether or not that police officer committed a crime or not, because it was against the citizens. But the kids will call the police on the parents, and the parents will come in front of those children and correct the parent. And sometimes they don't even know what's going on. They just take the kid's word for it. They just take the kid's word for it. Or what somebody said on the phone. Don't nobody care about them kids more than them parents. More than likely. I mean, we got some sick parents nowadays, more and more. But normally, naturally, nobody care about them kids more. And if those kids did do to those police officers what they do to those parents, I believe those police officers will beat them down. But the police want to come in and correct the parent in front of the kid. The kid's going to lose respect for the parent. The parent ain't, how's she going to control the child? Some of them kids, you need to catch some of them in those schools, come down there in that school, strip their pants off, butt naked in front of the class, and whoop the crap out of them. Yeah, a good dose of humility and pain will fix the problem. That's what they need. That's what a lot of them need. Listen, y'all hear me talking about Jesus Christ coming back, Jesus Christ. When he comes back, that's the kind of stuff going to be going on. That kind of stuff, what I just mentioned. You think he's not going to do it? He's going to do it. He's not going to be playing. He's not going to be playing. When he come back here, he's not going to be playing with us. A kid acting up in school and rebelling against his mother, he'd be lucky if he didn't get thrown in the hell. So if he got a good they stripped him down naked in front of the class and beat the hide off of him, God will be showing him mercy doing that. That'll be an act of mercy. But they call everything child abuse now. Child abuse is unnecessary, excessive physical or emotional punishment Okay? Unnecessary, excessive physical punishment. That's child abuse. But when you have to spank a child, that's corporal punishment, man. Everybody should get that. That's the law. That's the way the law goes. The Bible said eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. The Bible said you take a life, you lose your life. That's the law. Although we are in the age of grace and we are under God's grace, still the law is still in effect. The law is supposed to enforce the law. But they're not enforcing the law now. They're making laws. They're making these laws now where people can't even be arrested if they get caught stealing or whatever. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that rant, but I got on here to say that children, y'all, there's children go to hell. Some children go to hell, and they're kids. As I said, I saw a little girl young as 5 years old. I heard a baby crying. Okay? Now I think this baby, it wasn't that he did something wrong. I think the parents was just so evil. And see, when a parent actually give their child over to Satan like that, that parent has sealed her fate. She probably won't be saved. Yeah, I saw a 12-year-old boy burning. I've seen people in these other worlds where, as I said in some of my other videos, man, I've got it. I know this sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna say it because I guess somebody needs to hear it. If it's not for you, then just turn it to something else. But God allowed me to go to several different worlds: Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Mars, and other planets. There are other planets right in our skies that we can't see. They're invisible. Okay? They're invisible. The other dimensions. Okay? I've closed my eyes in this dimension and woke up, bam, in another dimension. Walked outside my house, that was a whole new neighborhood. A whole nother neighborhood. Other people. And it was daytime, or it was just breaking dawn. A little rain. Then I went back in my house, got back inside of my physical man, opened my eyes, bam, I'm back in my house. It was dark. Back in my neighborhood. In these worlds, there are humans there. That's why you need to make sure you accept Christ, get Christ in your heart. So when you die, the holy angels will come get you. And you won't end up somewhere in the hands of evil beings, evil people. Okay? And make sure your children, we need to teach our children, man, to stay out of these movies. Listen, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. These horror movies they making, y'all better leave those things alone. You better leave those things alone. These horror movies they making, y'all better leave those movies alone. These haunted houses that they got, you guys, y'all better stay out of those haunted houses. Listen, I'm telling you, this is what I'm seeing. I hope this doesn't happen. But it's possible that you could run into something that you never get rid of. Something spiritual, something dark, something evil that you never get rid of. Because there are witches and warlocks and Satanists. They are trying their best to curse you. They're trying their best. They're trying their very best to curse you. They don't even know you. They're just evil. And they got some of y'all thinking that, We're nice people. We're nice. They're good witches. We're good witches. We're good Satanists. Satan is good. There's no such thing as a good maggot. There's no such thing as a good turd. No such thing as a good turd. A good maggot. A good dead dog. There's no such thing as a good witch. Y'all better stay out of those haunted houses and all this Halloween. They're going to be demons. They're going to be demons unleashed on the earth. There are demons you don't want to see. If you do, if you see them, you're going to lose your mind. There are spirits you don't want to see. If you see them, you're going to lose your mind. I've had to pray for people that have seen things and cast those spirits out of their minds. Yeah. All right, man. You know what? God been on me 3-4 days. Make this video. Listen, y'all. We're going to have to reach out to our children. Because there are so many things in this world that's reaching out to them. And a lot of children are not saved. Children go to hell, y'all. I've seen children lost. I've seen them. And some of us might be held responsible for these children. So don't let nobody tell you all the children, when the rapture comes, all the children's going to be taken. Not all of them. Not all of them. There's some bad little kids. Bad little kids. And when they tell a lie, we think it's funny. But you're supposed to beat his behind until he repent. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to spank his behind until he repent. Yes, even for a lie. Okay, if you tell him don't put your hand in the cookie jar, and then you catch him with his hand in the cookie jar, you're supposed to scold him until he says, "I'm sorry." Otherwise, if that child don't repent and he keep going like that, he get killed or something. He die early. He going to hell. I know y'all don't believe me. I know some of y'all don't believe me. But that's what's wrong with this country, man. Right now, we have lost the fear of God. We don't fear God no more. The Lord said, "Don't fear man who can only destroy your body." He said, "You better fear God, who can destroy your body and your soul in hell." We don't fear God. And we got our own idea about God. We think we got God figured out. How can God put me in hell? I don't know, but he'll do it. It sounds like to me. If God loved me, he wouldn't put me in hell. Well, I guess he do love you, and he will put you in hell. He said he'll do it. I mean, I can't understand that reasoning either, but I tell you what, I ain't going to take a chance on going and finding out that way. We don't know God, man. I'm telling you. And see, when we see him, when we get our rewards, he gonna make us like him. As I said earlier, man, I saw myself in the millennial reign. I was sentencing people to hell, and this one girl was praying, "God help us, Lord help us," and I was sentencing them. But she was praying, "Lord help us," but there was no help. You think I want to do something like that? Something going to have to drastically happen to me before I do something like that. I'm gonna come to know or understand something or something. Cause ain't no way I do nobody like that, man. Especially women. My heart is tender toward women. Thinking about this stuff, it just grieves me. But I hope, as I said earlier, I hope when this is all over. Sometimes I used to think, I hope when this is all over, I hope I wake up I hope I wake up in my bed as a little kid again, when I was having my fun, the best time of my life. I didn't have no worries. My mom and daddy took care of all the bills. We were really poor, but I didn't know it because I was enjoying life. So I hope I wake up and all this was just a dream. All this is just a dream. That we would die one day. Die. Come to find out all that was just a dream. Man, you don't die. That we were sad. Come to find out all that was just a dream. You don't get sad here. I hope. But I don't think so. I don't think so. So, but anyway, I need to apologize to the Lord for taking so long to make this video, because He's sure been talking to me about doing it. But listen, y'all, teach your children right. Teach them right. Teach your children right. Children go to hell. I've seen them. I've seen the devil with children. I've seen the devil with children. I wish I could. Sometimes I think about the devil and I be thinking, man, I wish I could kill him. Sometimes I tell that devil, boy, you ought to be praying too. You ought to be thanking God. You ought to be thanking God. God is God. Because if I had the power, I would destroy you. Utterly destroy you. There'll be nothing left for you. Devil. But as they say, it is what it is, but it won't be for long. It is what it is, but it won't be for long. Alright, y'all. Alright, I'm trying not to make this video so long. Let's see, what's something I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I need to talk some more about the personification of wisdom, goodness, and all that stuff. Alright, y'all. God bless you all. I pray that God continue to strengthen you all. And I pray that God give you all wisdom to deal with your children and give you the faith and fearlessness to deal with the children and the authorities that stands in your way. Amen. God is still speaking through visions and dreams. Yes, He is. Jesus Christ is soon to return. We must be ready. Year 2025 is going to be a year to remember. There's something coming in year 2025 and year 2027. Something major is coming in year 2025, 2027. We better be ready. All right.